It's kind of like
Mhm.
human psychology. When we're tired as people, we're like thinking things are going to slow down. But when the market is tired, things start to speed up, and that triggers the reversals in the market. So this reversal that we're looking at right now, because you see it too on the dollar and the pairs shifting, it's really just a matter of it's been like a work in progress, but it's been a matter of a couple of weeks, and that's why I usually try to start with the small accounts because this is the one period where it's like I've been in a losing season for the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, right? And we've all seen that, but it's just the mindset behind it. I've been able to articulate the mindset because once the market gets rolling, it's going to be hard for people to kind of grasp the mindset and then try to catch moves in the market because they didn't have enough like retention time, if that makes sense. But it's just like the way that I've come to the conclusion of my mindset on the chart is kind of like it's kind of like I was explaining to my friend earlier. It's like when I first started learning how to trade, I started in 2017, right? Made my first million in 2019. So my beginner, I said my learning curve was 2 years because it was 2017 through 2019. But 2017 to 19 was like the beginning work. It's like I found out what to do. I found out what worked. So let me try to work smarter, not harder. So 2019 through like 2024 was just a matter of me still learning because every day I'm learning. And that's what I was telling my friend the difference was is every day is a learning situation for me. But it's like from 2019 to 2024, it was a matter of I already knew how to trade. I already got profitable. I already made my first million. It was just a matter of staying consistent and being able to adapt in within market conditions. But then the third time of learning was 2024 through current season 2026, which really I would say 2024 to 2025 because I did the 100 to 100K account challenge twice last year, but it was on my own. And then I had a few students be able to replicate it as well. But we're in a different like season in the market to where it's just like you kind of got to understand where we are. And I feel like this market, compared to all the other market conditions I've traded, this one's a little bit more choppy, but it's just kind of like a job interview to me. It's like when people are looking to get a job, right? They're anticipating getting the job. So they're going to get ready for it. They're going to take a shower. They're going to put on
Mhm.
deodorant, put on the nice clothes and go to work or go to apply for the job. Trading works in the same way. It's just like, if I understand the rules of the market, I understand what it looks like, I understand the relationship between the dollar and other currency pairs, and the market is only buys and sells, it's really coming down to keeping a constant mindset, towards it, if that makes sense. Because it's just like if it's buys and sells, what are the criterias of the buy and sell? That's the part that everyone's missing. And it's like not just the technicals and fundamentals, it's deeper than that. I mean, and it really is when how we first started, it's about the growth of the person, the mind. Within it literally starts within as if it's like a seed. The seed doesn't look like a seed until it starts sprouting roots, but it's because it's
Mhm.
being nourished and given nutrients and stuff like that. So that's how I see it because it's just like 24 to 25 was me resharpening and redefining my edge and finding that conviction within self because it's like before 24, 25, I was already getting those big account flips, but I was going to maybe like 25 to 50K to 75K. But then twice last year, I do 200 to 100K and I do it both within like under a week. One was 5 days I did it, and then the other one was 3 days. But that's out of the entirety of the entire year. That's what people are not understanding. All
What
those
answer
days.
did you use?
They went the first one, the 5 day one was on Forex, and then the one that I recorded and caught on camera for everyone, that one was crypto. So I've done it on all of them. On the Forex pairs, I feel like they balance each other out because Forex is a little choppy. So when I start getting like movement in the market on the Forex markets, it's like if oil is taking off and everything else is crashing down, it's almost like oil holds the rest of the pairs up. But then when I have the approach in crypto, I've noticed that, some of the crypto is like meme coins and stuff like that. Some of them are not strong enough to hold and have multiple in the account, like you see me doing with the Forex markets. So you'll see me lean more towards one specific asset class, more on the crypto side. You notice that?
I do.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like with that, I really don't have an approach. It's kind of just what I'm feeling in the moment because there's been also times with Forex to where, some of the big JPY trades and gold trades to where I will just focus on one pair. But I feel like Forex really works together better when I have them all in one. But it's like a stack because everything's a zigzag. But just like I was showing you guys last week, how GBP, USD, Euro USD, and NZD USD all had the same setup last week, and oil had the same buy setup from Sunday going into the end of the week. But the manipulation hit Euro USD, NZD USD, and AUD USD a little bit harder than GBP USD at the top of the week. That's how I see things. So it's just a constant state of learning and redefining. So it's just like when it comes to like me teaching everything, I think the biggest thing is everyone is able to talk about technical and fundamental analysis, but no one is really telling people how to think. But how to think, and it's really something that came along the way for me. Like it's bigger than just how I grew up in the childhood and my mom being, undiagnosed schizophrenic. So trying to do the opposite of that, but it's really thinking the opposite in every situation because it's like in the Forex markets and in the crypto markets and all trading markets, futures and options, people are used to seeing the losses in the account, but they're not used to being in the drawdown and holding it because they're unsure of
Yeah.
the bias. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
Um, so then they come to me and then they see that I'm holding the trades because to me it's like my risk management side of how I think about it is I'm already committed to the trade because of the way that I stack. So the my risk management is not a matter of protecting the $100 account, if that makes sense. It's protecting the rest of the capital that I've grown from other $100 accounts, if that makes sense. So
So
it's like,
hence why you don't start off with. So when you flip it to from
uh-huh.
100 to whenever, at some point when it reaches the account reaches a certain size, do you implement a stop loss or not?
No, because we're already in it. Like you see me using stop losses in the signals because the account right now is too small to
Hmm.
handle like a gold trade pullback. So if I anticipate gold might be pulling back, and on the point oh 0.01, if it pull back 100 pips, that's $10 and it's $100 account. Gold can pull back 500 pips all they want, like it did last night, and that
Yeah.
would be
Hmm.
like half the account. But then gold by itself, because of the way that I run forex pairs, that's just one particular asset in the forex market. But typically, when I'm trading like the forex accounts, it's all of them in one. But the forex pairs are not going to pull back as heavy as gold. They're not going to move lately 500 pips all in one move. So some of everyone's
Hmm.
like favorite account flips from me. You guys are getting to witness now like how I approach the accounts and how I'm stacking and what my mindset is between it. But it's like they the results from it, it's like that's why it's different seeing the results after the fact because there's accounts in particular that I'm dropping already at school back in the day, and then I'm down and drawdown for days to maybe a week and a half at a time, and then one day everything just takes off. I think the last time we had met, I had showed you that one with CAD JPY and oil, the stack and stuff like that. But that's why it's just like I'm always sure on where I am in the market, but it's a matter of using the higher time frames and the lower time frames together to figure out the picture, but figure out, the entire bias, if that makes sense, because the bias, it's in the bias, figuring out the bias is one thing that could come from technicals because it's still making what's the rules of an uptrend and what's the rules of a downtrend, right? But the
Hmm.
discipline and the mental side of it is within the uptrend and downtrend, your discipline has to come from understanding what the main bias is and only trading that direction once you understand that main bias. Because when people sell, and I was guilty of it too, like I used to intraday and swing trade. I was just never a great scalper because I would hold too long, but I ended up taking the accounts yesterday because I realized Sunday has been a scalp day like the last couple of weeks. And Sundays was one of the days where I would have like a negative account balance pretty far-fetched because it just wasn't holding. So I'm like, if I started to realize the pattern of Sunday is more of a scalp, then let me not get into the habit of holding a trade on Sunday. So I made the announcement of I took it out on Sunday because I noticed at 10 p.m. on Sundays and most nights, I start getting a majority of the drawdown around that time. So if the account is not big enough to hold it, then I just take it. But at the same time, it's not my goal to go back into intraday trading because the market at some point, people got to get comfortable with it working for them, if that makes sense. And that's why even with this next course, it's about to come out this week. I'll hit you up. I'll need your email and everything too to add you into that course for the new site. I focus a lot on mindset because I really think that's the part that's missing for a lot of traders. And then also implementing the set of rules on, the criteria, showing you what to look for exactly of, hey, it's like a specific triangle. But we'll get into it on this side. But I wanted to talk about the mental side before we looked at the actual chart side because of your bias on what you had sent me of I understand why you were looking for dollar buys, but at the same time, where we are on the higher time frame charts, that's what we have to pay attention to because once the higher time frames have decided a side, that's the direction it's gonna go. And then you need